All right, welcome everybody to another Alovéa Pros. Craig Smith here, and boy, this is one I'm really excited for because I get to hang out today with Erin, who's our first yoga Alovéa Pro instructor that's hanging out with us today. Erin, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good, thank you. And you're down in Tampa. What is it like
Yes.
in Tampa these days? Is it like 400 degrees?
No, not quite. Probably in the 90s. The last, I don't know, 5 days or so have been rainy. So the sun finally came back out, which is nice.
Okay, nice. Well, you and I actually got to meet up in the mountains of Western North Carolina. That's typically where I do this podcast, but I'm hanging out up in Canada. So I'm like the polar opposite of where you're at in Tampa right now. But
Yeah.
this is, I know we've been excited to hang out because my wife, absolutely every single day, she does both meditation, she does her yoga. She's just very committed to that. I do a lot with her. And so to me, this is really exciting, like finding out your journey in this yoga path and becoming an instructor. So, like, where did this start in your life? Is this something you've always done, or how did you get into
No,
this?
no, not something.
No, no.
No. I started practicing yoga in 2014. A friend of mine that I worked with at a restaurant started teaching yoga, and she was posting it on her Facebook all of the time. And at the time, my full-time job, my day job, which, side note, I just stepped away from, was really stressing me out. And I was having some tumultuous relationship with my sister. So there was a lot of arguing and just a lot of stress. So I was like, you know what? I think yoga can probably help with that. So I started going to her yoga classes once a week. And then I started following her around the other studios that she was teaching, which ultimately led me to a place called the Lotus Pond, which is where she and subsequently myself both did our yoga teacher training. So when you decide you want to be a yoga teacher and you go through training, the initial training is 200 hours. And different studios will break that down different ways. Like you can do it jam packed into a month if you have that availability. My course was spread out, I think, over 10 months. And so we met once a week and then one weekend a month. And so I graduated with 200 hours training at the end of 2016. And I have been teaching ever since. So I'm going into
Wow.
my 10th year. But also, when you graduate, they give you the option to enroll in the advanced teacher training. So that is an additional 300 hours. So
My
I did
goodness.
that just because I love to be learning new things. And I feel like with yoga, there is so much to know. Like I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm still a student, and there's still things that I learn all the time. And it's really interesting. So I did the advanced teacher training. So I have 500 hours of training. And then once you teach, I think it's 1,000 hours, then the classes that you offer, I would be able to structure workshops and such, and the attendees would be able to use that as continuing education. So
Really?
that's pretty cool. But I have to wait till I hit 1,000 hours, and I think I'm somewhere between 7 and 800.
Well, I think this is fascinating because I bet 99.9% of the world has no clue that all of that goes in to running a
Yeah.
yoga, to be a certified yoga instructor. And what do you think are the biggest misconceptions when it comes to yoga? Because I think there's a lot of people that it sounds scary, or it's just something they're not used to. Because my wife is spent most of her adult life heavily. She does a lot of different type of yoga too, Kundalini yoga and stuff like that. But it's been such a passion. But a lot of it seems it doesn't need to be scary. So what do you think are the biggest misconceptions around yoga?
People think I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible, but it's actually the reverse. People do yoga to become flexible. And the more you do it, the more flexible you come. I had a teacher that once said, the motion is the lotion. So we all know being stagnant is not good for us, right? So being able to move the body, the more that you're getting that fluid moving in the joints and exploring different range of motion and et cetera, the more accessible it becomes. And
Well, it
also
makes
there's
sense too.
benefits to being able to control your breathing and calm your mind, and it's meditation in motion. And it's just, I love it.
Well, and you can tell the passion you have around it. And I just told you beforehand, we come down to Sarasota for some stuff. So I can't wait. I'm going to come to one of your classes in Tampa. That would
Yeah.
be a ton of fun. But I think it's one of those things that people misunderstand it. And then the reality is probably everybody should be doing it. And you even see some other healthier nations around the world that this is part of like how kids start off their day, or even how older people, especially as you're aging like me, like every single day, stretching and breathing, how critically important it is. So
Exactly.
I think this is really eye opening. But so you're a sponsored Alovéa Pro, so walk me through how you went from this journey of you're running all these classes. How did you find out about Alovéa originally?
So, originally, when COVID happened, I started paying very close attention to the media and politics and the health and wellness community, and just taking in all of the information that was coming from all different directions and trying to decipher that. And in a lot of the
And there was
accounts
a lot of it.
following, yeah, on social media, like mine did, just trying to educate themselves to make educated decisions. One of those accounts ended up being Joel Bauman. And so he was calling out, mainstream media and Hollywood and politics and whatnot. But one of the things that, after I started following him, one of the things that kept reoccurring was that he fights to eradicate childhood malnutrition. And he kept talking about this food technology. I'm like, okay, what is this? Because he just keeps talking about it. So I reached out, I viewed the website and like kind of combed through the whole website. I was really drawn to the Hope movement, which I'm sure we'll get to. And he had done an interview with Sam Castor, who is the CEO. And so I listened to that. Like I did all of my research like I would with anything else. And it seemed like a good fit. Because at some point last year, I decided I've always been a pretty healthy person. So it's not like I had anything in particular I was looking to target, but I just wanted to become the best version of myself that I can be. So in that, there was a lot of health and wellness, slow incremental changes. So I cut out fast food and processed foods and started paying attention to the ingredients and the sugar content and things like that. And then one room at a time, I started in the kitchen and started getting rid of, the
One
nonstick.
room at a time. I love that.
One room at a time, I started swapping things out, the shower curtain in the bathroom, the bedding in the bedroom, the clothes in the closet. So Alovéa and this food technology and these products really just kind of aligned with where I was in my health and wellness journey. And I was really looking for a way to just bulletproof my immune system, is what I had
Mm,
told Joel when I initially reached out. So,
that's
you
so
start
cool.
on the products and slowly but surely you hear the testimonies of the other people, and some of these testimonies are just miraculous and mind-blowing. And so then you start trying more of the products. You're like, well, I didn't think I needed that initially, but now I've heard X, Y, and Z from these three people, so let me check it out and see what it can do for me. And so it kind of has just evolved and snowballed from there. And
That is
then
so
earlier this year, I was encouraged by two of the people on my team, Joel and Joe Bush, to apply for pros. And it didn't even occur to me that I qualified, because I was thinking health professionals or, trainers, professional athletes, things like that. I didn't realize that being a yoga instructor qualified me. So I applied and they were like, yep, you're good to go. And then fast forward, met you in Bear Lake, went to the pros launch event, and I kind of just made it a goal for myself to attend all of the Alovéa events this year.
and we got to hang out in Dallas together. And you know what
Yes.
I love about your story is, so many of the pros that we've met, and of course, there's tens of thousands of customers in this company, but the pros is a special program where the company's partnering with people who already have, really kind of a network or influence of people that are trying to live a healthier life. And that's you as a yoga instructor. I've never seen somebody go to yoga class because saying, I want to be unhealthier or I'm not interested in health. I mean, everybody that's that committed is wanting to, they're going to be concerned about what they're eating, or they may be on a new journey of getting healthier. And yoga might be one of the principles that they're building in. So of course you'd be qualified, but I love the fact that, it wasn't like you had a big health issue or health challenge. It was something you were just really inspiring and wanting to learn. And then you dug deeper and it built to the point where you got involved. So, but
Yeah.
there's
And
a
I,
big difference still of putting your name on, because I mean, being an Alovéa Pro now, you're sponsored, you're connected to this company, you're, people you're working with. What was the thing that made it say, I'm willing to put my name attached to this company? Was there anything that jumped out?
the Hope movement, and the fact that we are helping people to improve their quality of life and replace spending with products that are more beneficial than maybe what they're currently using. But at the same time, we're helping to feed and nourish kids around the world. And I think that that is great. Like the very first time I watched the What is the Hope movement video on the Alovéa website, I teared up
Mm.
it hit me right in the heartstrings. And I was like, this is something that I can support and something I can get behind. I see a lot of potential.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the foundation. There's not too many companies that, while you're trying to get yourself healthy, you're automatically nourishing and making a difference with others, which is
Right.
absolutely incredible.
It kind
Well,
of just like a no-brainer, right?
it really is. But part of our job is to obviously let people know about that. That's why we're even doing these podcasts, so people can learn about this and say, So what would you say? You had other yoga instructors out there listening, or other personal trainers. What would your recommendation be to say if they're kind of intrigued in what they've heard here today and wanted to learn more? What would you suggest for them to do to get to the point where you got to the point where you said, I'm willing to put my name on this company?
I guess just sharing different testimonials that might be in line with topics or conditions or whatever that they are dealing with or that they know someone in their life is dealing with. And just the improvement of their quality of life and incorporating things like I don't know. I don't know how to word it. They should just do it. They should just listen to me and do it.
I like that. That's just like straight up coaching, right?
Yeah,
And
they won't regret it. It's like every
well,
time you go to a yoga class, you don't leave feeling like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Every time you go, you're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I'm so glad that even if you didn't want to go, that you forced yourself and pushed yourself to do it. When you leave, you're like, oh my God, I feel so much better.
Well, and I think there's this correlation too, because I grew up, I was a tennis coach, and that was what helped start the Alovéa Pros program with my background in tennis coaching. And the reality is, anybody who's ever coached or run classes or any type of modality, you typically like helping other people. There's something about this joy that you get from seeing them improve, because you must love seeing somebody like me start off and trying to get to touching my any kind of pose, and like I can't hold it, or it's I'm not able to do it. But then after you help and coach and teach, and you get to feel this like kind of personal reward.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a huge part of this business, right? Because you're seeing other people get healthier, and you're seeing the ripple concept, where
Mm-hmm.
every single serving we provide, we create a matching serving in need. So
Yeah,
it's
and
it's
it's
really
also nice to get the text messages from the customers, the friends, the family that are like, "Oh my God, this happened! I can't believe it! I never thought that that would happen." So
Yeah.
those are
Well, tell me
rewarding.
about the products with Alovéa, because you said you love to learn, and you obviously, even how you met Joel, you were digging around, learning more.
Mhm.
You're kind of wanting to make yourself bulletproof, like you talked about. What products really jumped out at you? And when you're talking to, say, a client in the yoga world, say somebody that you're working with, what would be the number one things that you're recommending them to get started with?
Well, I have everything laid out right here. I don't know if you want me to hold up and show.
If you want.
Okay, so when I first started, I think it was called the Integrative Health Bundle, and it
Okay.
had these things.
Okay.
So this is where I started. And then one of the products that I kept hearing stories about was the balance. This was a big surprise. Like, this is one of my favorite products. I will never be without this. But when I first looked at the website, I browsed right past it. I was like, I don't need that. Turns
So why
out,
why would you say? Because I've heard that from other people say too, that I think balance gets missed, but yet when you talk to a lot of customers, it's the one part nobody would ever miss is balance. So why do you say that for you?
so for me personally, I didn't think I had hormonal issues. I didn't think I needed hormonal balance, but I guess I did, because once I started taking that, I noticed a dramatic difference in my menstrual cycles. Like, I wasn't having the PMS and the mood swings and the random bouts of crying that were unexplained a week ahead of time. That's all gone. I don't know that it's here until it shows up, which is nice. And the duration and the whole experience has improved dramatically. When I was in high school, I used to have to leave school and go home because the cramps would be so bad. I don't have that anymore. So it's just improved that tremendously.
And how weird is it that we often don't talk about that product, but yet it's so powerful. It's changed so many people's lives, and it's
And
just
it's
one
not
of
just
our
for
additional
ladies,
products. What's
it's
that?
for men and women, not
Yes,
just.
I never miss a day of taking my balance. So what else you
Mhm.
got there? I'm now excited about what else. You got any other goodies there?
Yeah, so in my mana relief bottle right here, I just made a fix. This was so side note. I've had a pretty good year. There's been a lot of good things that have happened this year, but there was one very traumatic thing that also happened, and that was the death and the loss of my little sister. And that
Oh,
was
I'm
in
so
March,
sorry to hear that. Oh, in
right,
March?
right after the pros event, like 10 days after Bear Lake. I had to unexpectedly go home for 2 weeks to help with all
Oh,
of
I'm
that.
so
So
sorry
I'm
to hear
trying
that.
not to get upset right now, but I will tell you this for funeral prep, absolutely every day,
Oh,
sometimes more than once a day. But it just helps to calm the cortisol and all of the other things coursing through your system during a time like that. So that is a favorite. I also really like the Focus and the Fuel. So Focus, that I started drinking in the afternoons. Like I had a desk job for a long time. And so 2, 3 in the afternoon, you start to get sleepy. And I would drink coffee, but when you're drinking coffee that late in the day, it's keeping you up all night. So I replaced it with Focus. And I tell you, within 15 minutes, you notice a difference. And it's just this clean, focused energy. And there's no crash after. It doesn't affect me being able to sleep later in the evening. So I love that. And then the fuel, I like the concept of fueling myself at a cellular level, like giving my cells the energy that they need without there being like any jitters or any crash or
yeah.
um
It's a huge
and
difference, right? Than rather than drinking like a Red Bull or
yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly. So for me it was just a matter of replacing spending. So if I'm gonna, I would rather drink the fuel than an energy drink because I know those are terrible for you. And
Hmm.
also, the fuel has ace mannan in it, like all of our products. So if I can incorporate more products and get more ace mannan in my body, then why would?
Well, explain that Ace Man. And for somebody who is listening in, maybe it's somebody in the yoga world, or maybe it's just somebody interested in getting their health and listening to this. Ace Man. What is Ace Man? Why do you feel? What is that all about in helping with that immune system and your gut health?
Ace mannan is pretty much where Alovéa came from, right? So ace mannan is a molecule that's extracted out of the inner gel of the aloe vera leaf. And our company has found a way to stabilize it and make it bioavailable so that the body can actually absorb it and utilize it. And it helps to activate your immune system. So basically, you're giving your body the tools to help your body repair itself, to activate your immune system and to do the job that it was designed to do.
I am so blown away that you just answered that. If you asked me that on the spot, I would say I'll send you a video.
Yeah, I do
I'm
that
just
too.
Okay, but that was like really impressive. And it was like so simply done. And that's why I love when you talked earlier, Joe talks about, because it's food technology. Everything we have is very clean and natural and clear,
Yes.
and it just makes such a difference. So, well, I think, I love this story that you've shared. But when you talked at the beginning too, you talked about being in a work environment and stress, and you said it's been a good year, but some obviously just horrific experiences. But what does it feel like being part of something? Because now you just said earlier, you kind of just slid it in there. Oh, I've just left my job. I hope they know they're not finding out on this
No, they
podcast.
do.
Okay, all right, this is open public knowledge.
Yes. So I was just at a desk job for a long time, wonderful company, wonderful people to work for, but it wasn't fulfilling me. And it was just I feel like I outgrew my time there and it was time to leave. And it was well received. They support, my exit and they know that one of the reasons is to focus more on this. And so I'm excited to see where the journey goes from here and what doors open. But I will say that every Alovéa event that I've attended so far, I have felt nothing but welcome and seen and included. And it just feels really good, like to be surrounded by people that automatically feel like family.
Well, there's something to be said around that, and most people don't have that courage to make that move, because I think one of the things that's driving so many people in today's world, that stress and that the challenges, is because they're working or living in an environment that is not connected to something that's fueling them or that is connected to their purpose.
And it
So one,
almost felt like I had something inside of me trying to claw its way out. Like I
wow.
knew that it was time to move on to bigger and better things. And
Oh my goodness. Well, I first of all, huge congratulations for doing
thank
that. And I think now you've just set us up. So we have to do a follow-up podcast. So now, have you been to Mexico to visit the children yet?
I went in May.
Oh my goodness. Well, tell us about that. What was that experience
Exactly.
like for you?
That was incredible. Very heartwarming to be able to meet and see these kids that we're helping in person and to have them run up to you and give you a hug or want to play or interact or on a piggyback ride. It kind of just solidifies everything, instead of it being a video that you watch on the internet, you're there in person and getting to experience it firsthand and see the different ways that they're utilizing the nutrition that we're sending them and just the difference and the impact that it's making. It just kind of drives it home that this is the right place, this is the right time, this is where I'm supposed to be, this is the next move.
Well, a big welcome, and just being here doing this podcast was a ton of fun with you today. And thank you so much, and a big congratulations. So we'll do the follow up in a few months from now to see how the journey is going now that you left this world in between your yoga and between Alovéa Pros and all the purpose driven things you're doing. We can't wait to do a follow up with you. So thank you. This is a first podcast. So congratulations. How did this feel?
Good. I was a little nervous, but I had a good guide.
Well, you did fantastic. Well, you did fantastic. And thank you very much. And for all the listeners here, stay tuned for our next Alovéa Pros coming up. We can't wait to share more incredible stories with incredible people just like Erin. So thank you very much, Erin.
Thanks for having me.